For hundreds of years, alchemists chased a dream that seemed absolutely impossible, the dream of turning ordinary lead into shimmering precious gold. They scoured ancient manuscripts, hunted endlessly for the fabled philosopher's stone, and dissolved metals in acid, firmly believing that the secrets of unimaginable wealth and eternal life lay hidden deep within the essence of matter. That quest led to countless discoveries and just as many heartbreaking tragedies. Alchemists who were seen as frauds or failures were sometimes thrown into prison, beheaded without mercy, or even skinned alive in public. That's how fiercely this obsession consumed them, how wildly that passion burned. And of course, gold is gold. Whether in the past or today, millions of people have been willing to sacrifice everything they have, even their own souls, just for a chance to claim this glowing metal. Hello and welcome everyone. At long last, after centuries of effort, the impossible has finally become reality. But the ones who succeeded in creating gold weren't alchemists, and they weren't chemists either. The ones who pulled it off were physicists. Thanks for tuning into our channel. Today, we're diving into the story of how 21st century scientists managed to transform lead into gold, how they did it using particle accelerators, why it doesn't make anyone filthy rich, and what it all could mean for the future of humanity. Sound interesting? Then let's get started. From alchemy to physics. Not every alchemist in the Middle Ages was a fraud or a charlatan. In fact, many of them were incredibly gifted individuals with a natural spark for discovery. These early thinkers had an intuitive grasp of something profound. They sensed that all matter was fundamentally connected, and that anything could be transformed if only they could unlock the right combination of elements and energy. If someone had told them that the only difference between lead and gold was just 3 protons, just 3 tiny particles, they would have been absolutely ecstatic. That's right, 3 particles. A lead atom has 82 protons, while a gold atom has 79. So if you could somehow strip away 3 protons from a lead atom, it should in theory turn into gold. Sounds simple, doesn't it? But in reality, it's almost unimaginably difficult. Because to alter the makeup of an atomic nucleus, you have to overcome the force that holds it all together, the nuclear force. And for the record, the nuclear force is the single strongest force in the known universe. Trying to break apart a nucleus with acids or heat, like the alchemists once did, is about as effective as trying to sink a modern aircraft carrier with a BB gun. To break apart atoms, you need energy on the scale of what's produced inside the heart of a star. And humanity didn't come close to touching that realm until the early 20th century. In 1919, Ernest Rutherford bombarded nitrogen with alpha particles and ended up creating oxygen. For the first time in all of human history, one element had been deliberately transformed into another. And just like that, the era of alchemy came to a close, and a new chapter began, one that was far more dangerous, far more thrilling. This phenomenon, the act of changing one element into another, was given a name in the language of science: nuclear transmutation. When alchemy became science. After Rutherford's groundbreaking experiment, no one could deny it anymore. Humanity now had the power to transform one element into another. That moment marked the end of an era spent searching for the philosopher's stone and the beginning of a new age, an age of carefully designed experiments and precise calculations. Crucibles were replaced by particle accelerators, and arcane incantations gave way to the cold, elegant equations of quantum mechanics. In 1941, American physicists finally succeeded in creating gold artificially by bombarding Mercury with a stream of neutrons. The outcome was modest. They managed to produce just a few atoms of radioactive gold. But what truly mattered was that the principle had been proven. Transmuting base elements into gold was no longer a myth. It was real. What had once been dismissed as heresy was now being recorded in official scientific reports. 80 years have passed since then. And now, it's no longer mercury, but lead, that heavy metal which was the starting point of so many alchemical dreams, that takes center stage in a new kind of experiment. In 2025, as part of the ALICE project, short for a Large Ion Collider Experiment, beams of lead ions were accelerated to nearly the speed of light and slammed into each other inside the underground ring of the Large Hadron Collider. However, these were not direct head-on nuclear collisions. Instead, scientists used a phenomenon known as ultra-peripheral collisions, or UPCs for short. This occurs when two lead nuclei, specifically Pb208 ions, pass each other at incredibly close distances, just a few dozen femtometers apart. At that range, they don't physically touch, but their electromagnetic fields begin to interact in powerful ways. At speeds approaching 99.9999% of the speed of light, the electromagnetic fields of these lead nuclei grow so intense that they behave like a torrent of high-energy photons. These photons strike nearby nuclei, exciting them and knocking out a few nucleons, protons, and neutrons from their structure. And when exactly 3 protons are ejected from a lead nucleus, that atom is transformed into gold. In this way, the dream of the alchemists was finally fulfilled. But it didn't bring anyone riches. First of all, the gold that was created existed only for the briefest of moments. The conditions required to make it were unimaginably extreme, almost like something straight out of hell. The nuclei had to be fully stripped of all electrons and accelerated to nearly the speed of light, existing in an insanely ionized state. On top of that, they were subjected to overwhelming magnetic forces and intense electromagnetic pulses. As a result, the newly formed gold nuclei barely had time to travel before they either slammed into the accelerator walls or simply collapsed due to their own internal instability. All the detectors could do was record the faint traces the particles left behind, their ionization paths, their orbits, and their energy levels. In the end, this gold didn't leave behind any sparkle or weight. It existed only as a line of data etched into the experiment's log. And second, creating even a handful of gold atoms came at a cost millions of times higher than their market value. Why physicists still chase gold that can't be sold? You might be wondering, what's the point of all this? Why would anyone spend millions of dollars just to create a few gold atoms that vanish almost instantly? The answer is actually pretty simple. In this context, gold isn't the goal, it's the proof. It's proof that humanity has reached the point where we can deliberately manipulate the inner structure of matter itself. Thanks to experiments at CERN, we now know that when heavy lead ions race close to the speed of light, their electromagnetic fields become so intense that they can knock protons and neutrons out of nearby atomic nuclei, triggering what's known as a photonuclear reaction. In other words, scientists have figured out how to use the natural fields around moving particles to change the structure of a nucleus, without even having to make them crash into each other directly. This isn't just a science experiment for fun. It lays the groundwork for future technologies, like the ability to turn radioactive waste into safe, stable elements. That's where the real value of nuclear transmutation lies. Right now, dozens of projects tied to this vision are underway in countries around the world. The United States, Japan, China, and nations across Europe are all developing accelerator-driven reactors. These reactors aim to fire streams of neutrons at long-lived isotopes like plutonium-239 and americium-241, breaking them down and transforming them into more stable forms, or into substances that decay much more quickly. If this works, humanity could stop burying nuclear waste for thousands of years and instead convert it, literally, into something far safer. This too is a kind of alchemy, shaped by the ethics of the 21st century. It might sound like a contradiction, but it's absolutely true. Today's science has long since moved past the idea of gold as a symbol of wealth. Now, gold is just a fascinating byproduct of our deeper quest to understand the universe. Of course, we're talking here about cutting-edge research, the kind only the top scientific elite are working on right now. Gold born in the fire of stars. When physicists finally figured out how to smash lead nuclei together, it seemed like they had reached the end of the road. But human curiosity doesn't stop that easily. Once we knew how to knock out 3 protons from a nucleus, it was only a matter of time before someone tried to scale it up. And that's how the concept of stellar alchemy came to life. The idea: to create gold inside a fusion reactor by replicating the energy conditions found at the heart of the sun. At its core, this idea is based on a surprisingly simple concept. Tokamaks and fusion reactors, which are capable of controlled nuclear synthesis, generate incredibly dense streams of neutrons. If you place materials like mercury or lead near the plasma, those neutrons can be absorbed by atomic nuclei, triggering a chain of nuclear transmutations that produce gold. One of the most well-known efforts in this field comes from a startup called Marathon Fusion. According to the company's developers, their future reactors will be able to transform the isotope mercury-198 into gold-197. Let's take a closer look at how that transformation happens. It takes just 2 steps. Step 1. In this step, a mercury-198 nucleus captures a high-speed neutron and immediately spits out 2 other neutrons. As a result, the nucleus ends up with 80 protons and 117 neutrons, effectively turning into mercury-197. Step 2. Mercury-197 is unstable, with a half-life of about 64 hours. During that time, one of its protons captures an inner shell electron, specifically from the K shell, in a process known as electron capture, and transforms into a neutron. This drops the number of protons from 80 to 79, and the nucleus becomes stable gold-197. In theory, 1 gram of mercury could produce almost exactly 1 gram of gold. But turning that theory into practice is a whole different challenge. To keep the reaction going steadily, you'd need a neutron flux exceeding 10 trillion neutrons per second per square centimeter, with plasma temperatures soaring into the tens of millions of degrees. And you'd also need absolute shielding from all the radioactive byproducts that get created in the process. The gold produced through nuclear transmutation isn't actually radioactive. It's the stable isotope gold-197, the only naturally occurring stable form of gold in the entire universe. But to reach that final stable state, the process has to pass through a series of unstable nuclear forms. Each of these nuclei, during electron capture, releases beta particles and bursts of X-rays. In the first few hours, or even days, a fine storm of radiation swirls around the target area. Over time, these intermediate isotopes decay one by one. After just a few days, most of the radiation subsides. Within a few weeks, or at most a few months, everything becomes fully stable. And what's left behind is pure, stable gold-197. This is the very same gold that alchemists spent centuries trying to create in their flasks and retorts. Now, all we need is a working fusion reactor. Marathon Fusion, along with research teams in China and Japan, sees this idea as a valuable byproduct of fusion energy development. If reactors of the future can deliver a steady, reliable flow of neutrons, they won't just generate energy, they'll also be able to synthesize rare elements like platinum, iridium, and gold. At that point, it won't be alchemy anymore in the traditional sense. It will be a full-fledged industry of elemental design. Right now, the concept exists only at the theoretical stage, supported by computer models and calculations. No one has yet run an experiment that proves it's economically viable to produce gold in a fusion reactor. But the idea itself is incredibly compelling. It carries echoes of ancient dreams, and maybe even a little of that age-old madness. Humanity is once again reaching for the power to create matter itself. Only this time, the tool in our hands isn't a bubbling flask, it's a fusion reactor blazing like a miniature artificial sun. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and click that like button and share it with your friends. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you again next time. Take care.